Hi, this is George, W7ges, and this is a quick demonstration of the NodeRed TS890 flow. I modified uh, the TCP connection that VNOD VU3 ESV created so I can have my TS890 band scope display on the N1MM Spectrum window just like this without using an external SDR. Here's a quick demonstration of what it looks like, and now I will show how it gets configured. So I will shut down N1MM and go into the flow. On NodeRed. Okay, so there are instructions for modifying the flow, installing the flow on the in the zip file that the flow is packaged in on the groups.io NodeRed website. I'm just going to show you how to configure it when you open it up. And so first of all, you need to go into here. Make sure this is DD02. DD01 is too fast. This is the N1MM band scope switch. The TCP client for TS890 TCP client has to be set to your radio. This is the IP address for my radio. The port is always going to be 60,000 because Kenwood has a static port assignment on the radio itself. Okay, once you have that done, in your ID, this is an inject port, inject node for the ID string. You do need this ID string to match what you have set up in your radio. So make sure this is the exact same ID string or this will not connect to your radio. If you, when you deploy this for the first time, uh, if it says connected with the green indicator underneath, you have successfully connected to your rig. To show your flow, and this is what the TS890 display will look like in NodeRed. Disregard the 403A, it's a work in progress. And this is what turns the band scope on and off for N1MM. When the band scope is on, there's a continuous streaming over your TCP IP of the band scope information, so there's no need to have it on unless N1MM is on, because it's also being sent to the UDP port that N1MM listens on to display the band scope signal. So turn it on before you start N1MM. Actually, we don't need to turn it on. I'll demonstrate what it looks like when we don't turn it on. So here we can see that it is connected to my radio because when I change the frequency, it'll catch up. Actually, no, it won't catch up because I don't have it polling. I only have N1MM transmitting because I didn't want to send too many commands to the, go in here. enable this. Now if we go back to the dashboard, oh, I have to deploy it. If we go back to the dashboard, it matches the frequency that I have on the radio. Just updated to 7178. So once you have the NodeRed flow installed and enabled, go back to the dashboard. You can configure N1MM. So here we start our N1MM, and the band scope is not displaying the TS890 band scope display. We go back into NodeRed, turn it on, and you can see it starts displaying. In order to get it configured, you would need to go into Configure Ports, and for the TS890, switch the port from the COM port to TCP. Set the TCP address to the address of your NodeRed server and to the port that's configured in NodeRed TS890 flow, which is 7355 when 7355 if you leave it as or as Vinod actually set it when he created the TCP part of the Kenwood flow. If you click on the Set button, the ID string is also in here. If you're using the TCP Kenwood TS890 connection, you do not have to have this in here because it's actually connecting through NodeRed, and there's no ID string being sent from N1MM into the TS890. I like to have it in here anyways. That way, if you do come back to use N1MM directly with the radio without the NodeRed flow in between, you can just change the IP and port address and don't have to go in here and change the ID string also. So once you have the IP string configured with the correct port, click on OK. If you start to start a new Spectrum window, if this one would not exist already, you click on Window, then go to Spectrum Display, click on it, a blank Spectrum Display window would pop up. Then you would right click on it, and under Spectrum Source, go down to For All Other Radios, Source Named, and TS890 band scope should pop up in here automatically once you had started the NodeRed N1MM UDP TCP flow. So there you have it. Just a quick video explaining how to set up the NodeRed flow. Thanks a lot for watching this.